So, man, I gotta say, yours is either going to be the easiest or the hardest vignette.
Oh no!
Yeah, dude, you are number one player for like generating your own content. Like, like I just show up ready, for anything, and I know that you will have plenty of stuff to keep us all busy. That's great. I love
it. Yeah. So I was looking when you asked me what we could potentially do.
Yeah.
I was like, there is so much.
I know, right?
there is so much material that we haven't been able to touch on because, we have a much larger, story to keep track of. So I really, really do enjoy these vignettes because it kind of gives us this time to touch on the little things that, get overlooked while we focus on the main quest.
Yeah. And probably something I should tell everybody is I hope as the campaign goes on that this will become more player initiated or player directed. Like you just come to me and say, Lex, I want to do a vignette, and I just kind of leave it up to you guys because it seems like some of the players don't so much want to do them or know what to do with them, and then some of you have all kinds of stuff you want to do. So
yeah,
I feel like when I kind of bug you guys to do it, it makes it seem like you have to do it, and it's an optional thing for those of you that want to do it. So yeah,
I definitely do enjoy them. And this vignette actually is a multi-layered setup. Because if you were,
I'm set up. You guys heard it. I've been set up.
If you went on the forum, no. So I was just looking through the forum, and then I saw the fireside chat thing that you had there for things that happen in town. So since we arrive at town, I made a post to Fear, and I asked her if she could make me one of her meals.
I saw that.
So, I said that I was gonna have a lunch with Logen, but cool. dun lies. It isn't a lunch with Logen. I feel kind of bad about it, but.
So what do you want the meal for, or is it going to be a surprise?
It's a meal. The meal. I'm going to use it to entrance Miguel, because I think that's the focus of our vignette.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Unless we decided on something differently.
No, it's whatever you want to do. You gave me 3 ideas, basically 3 NPCs you might want to interact with. So, I gave some thought to all of that. So, I think I'm ready. I'm prepared to improvise.
Awesome. Well, I'm ready if you are.
Yeah. So this is taking place kind of that evening, and night. So yeah, what do you want to do?
I have a question about Dahlia's abilities and whether I know what she's capable of.
Oh, okay. So that's something I've been meaning to do some more with. Right now, I'm basically, I think you asked me, and I gave you a very cryptic answer. But I'm basically, right now, I'm using the pixie.
Okay.
For kind of what she can do, because I mean, I think of her as a sprite, but looking at like what they get, I thought the pixie fit better. Yeah. As far as like the spells they get and stuff, but at some point I do want to kind of customize her a bit.
Cool.
So that would definitely be something you could have input in. If you look at the pixie and you see, I don't know, like maybe, I don't think she really needs polymorph. And maybe you have an idea for a different spell or something like that. Yeah. Well, because I don't know anything about the Spiderwick books, and I don't know if you do or you just found the image, but I don't know anything about.
I found those by chance. I was just looking at pixie, pictures of pixies, and then there was a whole collage of them, but they weren't D&D. They were, Spiderwick, and I thought, they are still fantasy enough and really well done that I'd wanted to use that in some way for Dahlia.
Yeah, and kind of my idea of fairy, and I don't think this is super original, but is that there are like just millions of kinds of fairies. Like So the more sources we can bring in, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. So I guess I wanted to start by approaching Miguel wherever we have him held. I don't think we've established.
He's in the stockade, actually.
Oh, in the stockade.
Yeah, he's all like.
Well, is he gonna spend the night there? Is that the thing?
Yeah. That's the. Well, he's gonna be there until they take him to the witch.
Do we know if he is under constant guard? I'm sure he is.
Yeah, I don't think he really is under a guard per se.
Okay.
Because the village isn't that big, so he's kind of visible. So, someone would likely see if he tried to escape, unless it was like the middle of the night. But I don't think they actually have a guard on him.
Okay, so that would be I either want to make it very complicated or very simple.
Okay.
I either just sit in front of him and talk to him while he has no choice but to listen, or I break him out of the stockade and then go off into the forest somewhere and have a chat. I want to talk to Dahlia and see what her input is.
Okay. Well, you could probably get him released into your custody for a time if you wanted him out of the stockade for some reason.
Yes, and I just don't want them to say anything about it. So if I have to make rolls, I'll do that.
Okay.
I don't want them to report that Lerissa at midnight has released whatever.
Yeah, and as far as Dahlia, looking at the pixie, they have superior invisibility, which she definitely has that because I've had her use it.
Yeah.
But all the rest of this is kind of in the air. I like the magic resistance. I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Spells, Druidcraft, Confusion, Dancing Lights, Detect Evil and Good, Detect Thoughts, Dispel Magic, Entangle, Fly, Phantasmal Force, Polymorph, and Sleep. So pixies have a lot of magic.
They do.
So probably what I would do to customize this is I might swap out some of those spells.
Sure.
For ones that seem more, fitting.
Mm-hmm.
But she's kind of like, I'm picturing her as like your girlfriend from college kind of thing.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I don't really have a lot to go on. So
yeah, I think that we are used to getting in trouble,
mm-hmm.
the two of us. So I think just skipping the whole asking anybody and ask her if she can polymorph him into some sort of like small creature that I can just carry with me.
Okay.
and try to do this all the while we are not seen. So I can just take off out of town.
Yeah. So I think if you did that late enough at night, you'd have a pretty good chance that no one would notice he was gone.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask Dahlia to do that for me to polymorph him into like a puppy.
Okay.
And then I would just take him with me.
Okay. Sure. So she turns him into a puppy and his little paws and head slide out, no problem, from the stockade.
And I'm just gonna put him in my bundle, even inside of like, I assume I have like a picnic basket.
Sure.
If I can get one where Fear would have put all the food in.
Okay.
For me, and then I just go off in the night to the similar spot, if I can remember, where I had gone with Logan that one time.
Okay, yeah, you can find that same spot again.
Okay.
Let's see. The only sticking point would be getting over the wall.
They won't open the gates for me.
Well, they probably would, but I thought you wanted this to be all secret, like nobody knows what you're doing.
You're
kind
right.
of thing.
You are right. Is there a spot on the wall that I can maybe like wait and then get over at some point, like without being seen, like because at that point I'll cast in no, can I cast flight from this loot?
I'm pretty sure it at least has levitate, if not fly. I think it has fly too, doesn't it?
Yeah. So
it's got everything.
Either levitate or flight. Probably levitate, since how high are the walls? It has to be like less, like 20 feet.
Yeah, they're probably less than 20 feet, like somewhere between 15 and 20 feet, probably.
Okay, so levitate gets you up to 20 feet. So even if I had to walk on it for like a little bit and then so okay. I'd cast levitate on myself and go up.
And you've just got a puppy, so you can just carry him.
Right.
Yeah, that's easy enough.
And then I will cast, right before I leave the wall, I cast invisibility. So if there's a chance that anybody would see me, I hope that they won't.
Yeah, actually, fly is one of the spells that the pixie has too.
Oh, yeah. So. Well, if fly and polymorph are 2 concentration spells, so
that's right.
You won't be able to concentrate on both. Right. Then I have a whole man to carry, and that's not gonna be good. It's not a good situation.
I'm trying to see if how polymorph works. Can she change its shape? Like more than
not once? Again. No, not unless she casts it again.
Okay. So yeah, that'll be because once she turns him back into a human for you to talk to him, she won't be able to polymorph him again until the morning.
Right. Those are things that we have to worry about later.
Okay.
Those are later problems.
Okay. Sure. Works for me. Just make this up as we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tali is all on board with this kind of cloak and dagger stuff. So she's very excited with this scheme to get Miguel out of the town.
So then I'll cast invisibility on myself, and then before I leave the wall. So I assume that I went up, got over the wall, and then cast it before I walked away from the wall, just in case, like, I'm in the middle of the field and then someone on the wall, like, points me out or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. And really, at this hour, the only people up are the few guards that are on duty.
Right.
So you just wait for them to be on the other side of town on their patrol and just get over the wall, no problem.
Yeah, so I do that. I do have a note if this will make any... If this makes any difference, but both of those spells are coming from the loot, so that means that I'm gonna have to bring.
Okay.
So I don't know if that, like, I'm just trying to be honest here because I don't have those spells, so I'm casting them out of the loot.
Yeah. I don't think you'll have a problem. You can just wait until the guards are far enough away they can't hear you.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I do that.
Yeah, they don't have like super high security here, so it's not too hard.
They've been resting on their laurels because of the witch.
Yeah, and they're more worried about stuff outside of the town getting in. They're not so much worried about what's going on inside the wall.
Right.
All right, so you take Miguel as a puppy to your picnic spot that you found.
Right.
With your picnic basket.
So I'm gonna ask Dahlia to release him to like undo the polymorph.
Okay.
But I want to do a hold person on him.
Okay.
So I can get like just a second before he like tries to like run or like whatever. This is all gonna be fine, right?
Yeah. What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly. What could possibly go wrong?
All right, let me roll his saving throw here.
So it's a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, he rolls a 10, which is probably a fail.
Oh, perfect. So she undoes the polymorph, and then I cast hold person.
All right, so he is back in his regular shape, but he is held.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of alternating between a look of curiosity and kind of a glare. You can tell he can't really decide whether he should be pissed or happy about what's going on.
And then I start my enthralling performance on him. So I just start playing my lyre and singing for him. Don't know if you want me to sing, but
no, I mean, unless you want to sing.
Maybe another.
It might be good for the ratings if you sing for us. I don't know.
So by performing for at least 1 minute, I can charm humanoids within 60 feet of me, so him. And at the end of the performance, I can do a charisma number of them, which I just need 1, and they need to do a wisdom saving throw.
He gets a 9. So.
Great. On a fail, he is charmed for 1 hour.
All right.
So this happens, like, I guess it takes hold at the very end of the hold person too. Okay. So whatever, can happen in 6 seconds. But if I succeed, what else? So he is charmed for 1 hour. So what does that mean? A charmed creature cannot attack the charmer, and the charmer or target the charmer with harmful abilities or magical effects. And I have advantage on any ability checks to interact socially with this creature.
Oh, and technically he had disadvantage on that saving throw, didn't he?
Oh.
Because of your lyre, right?
My lyre, yeah.
So.
And then while charmed, the target idolizes me, hinders those opposing me, and avoids violence.
Okay.
And this lasts until the target takes damage, I attack, or if it sees me attacking one of its allies.
Cool. So yeah, you've got him charmed. So
I just set up the picnic and ask for his help or whatever. And
okay.
and start eating, and then I just want to start asking about him, like what is his actual life, the truth of it about his life.
Okay.
Before all of the killing or what have you. Who is he actually? I mean, for Lerissa has her curiosity, is killing her because of the whole bit in the Feywild where those little creatures of gnomes or whatever they were, had interest in him, and also the nymph was was like about him. So I just wanted to who is he?
Okay.
That's my basically what I want to know.
Well, he basically tells you a pretty similar tale to what he told you before, that he didn't grow up. He grew up like in the peasant class, and his father was, among other things, a gambler, and won quite a bit of money and kind of squirreled it away, but also incurred debts that he wasn't paying, and eventually men that he owed money to showed up, and that was the end of his father. he was found floating in the harbor. So this was back in Elandria, and but his mother had access to some of the money he'd won, which she used to send Miguel to school when he got older. So he went to the university and studied art, and he considers himself he's very arrogant. He considers himself far beyond average intelligence, far beyond average skill as far as art. He thinks his paintings he did of these people he was torturing were brilliant, and the likes of which no one had ever seen before, and people don't appreciate his genius and all that kind of stuff. And I'll say, with the charm, like part of the magic you put on him is not only is he charmed by you, but because of, you have this like gourmet meal and you took him out of the stockade and all this, he seems to think that you've got the hots for him too. So he's opening up a bit and telling you things that you suspect he's probably never told anyone before. And you can tell from things that he tells you that he's never been right. I mean, he was the kind of kid that tortured animals for fun and stuff. So, just always been a sociopath kind of person. Mm-hmm. So definitely, in your opinion, probably doesn't seem really redeemable. Okay. At least by conventional means, other than completely changing his personality or something. Okay. And definitely he doesn't show any remorse. The only remorse he has is that he got caught. and he even sees that as kind of just people don't understand his genius and don't understand what he was trying to do. And he wasn't really trying super hard not to get caught. He wasn't even really concerned with that because he was just so wrapped up in what he was doing and his vision that he wasn't even thinking about the fact that if normal people saw what he was up to, that they would freak out.
Right. Well, I want to ask Dahlia if she's here with us. If she's what did the nymph see in him, and what did the other fake creatures see in him? What can I know that from what he's said and from what he's been accused of, of the things that he's done and whatever, but they seem before even talking to him to just sense something in him. I want to ask her if she's able to sense that as well and what that is.
Okay, yeah. So she says, a lot of the Fae have this kind of ability to perceive magic and other things in a way that you don't necessarily. And, she says when she looks at Miguel, she can just see basically that he's not right in the head, that there's something fundamentally flawed within him, and he kind of has this kind of taint, and she basically describes it as basically like an aura. Like they kind of see this aura around people, and based on the color of it and kind of how it looks, they can kind of tell certain things about a person. And like Miguel's is kind of this kind of puke yellow color and has these really unsightly veins of black and brown through it, and just his aura is unpleasant to look at, and just at least to her seems to indicate that he's not a very nice person, and would be what some people would call evil or just not nice. And as far as the red caps, she knows a little bit about them, and supposedly they are born from like violent and cruel acts, and it's believed that like if someone's murdered, like red caps will actually come up from the blood that's spilled and things like that. So she thinks, as far as them referring to him as the maker, that basically these things he was doing to people in Elandria was probably completely unknown to him, was actually creating red caps because he was murdering and torturing people and stuff, and they kind of feed on that.
Okay. Now, I would ask, does she think that this aura, it's a source of magic, like someone put that on him, or is that just like just a thing that people have that you can sense on them, like naturally? Is it naturally occurring, or is it like a magic?
She says, everybody has these auras. People, some people have a more noticeable one than others. So someone who's very powerful or who has like a great destiny or something like that will have a more noticeable aura, where like just a normal farmer or something, might not have much of one. So he kind of has more of the aura of like an important person, but his is very dark and twisted. And she mentions how, for instance, you and your friends have pretty distinct auras, and there's definitely some source of power that you all have, some kind of magical power that isn't common. Mm-hmm. And she believes that probably has something to do with whatever the queen sees in you, that she's interested in you. Probably has something to do with that, but she doesn't really know what it means, except that she hasn't seen it before, and it's not something that's common.
Cool. I want to ask him what he thinks, what his thoughts are on the coming events. What do you, my allies wish to turn you in to the hag as payment for her protection on the town. What do you think about that?
He says, I find this all very, very interesting and disturbing, frankly. I mean, the whole reason that I'm in this situation, I believe, is because I treated people as things, as subjects for my art, without regard to their feelings or lives, and yet I feel, at least in a way, that's what's been done to me. And it seems that once one breaks certain rules in the society that we live in, that you're no longer a person anymore. So I frankly find that a little hypocritical. He says, but left as things were in Elandria, I would have been hanged by now, or perhaps beheaded. I don't know what this witch is that you're going to hand me over to, but at least maybe there's a chance for something other than the noose or the headman's axe at the end of this for me. So I guess I'll play my cards as I can.
No one who's been given to the witch has been heard from again, and that worries me. I don't know why I have such an interest in you, and maybe it's bigger than that. It's for me. We should deal with this hag, and I'm oversharing that now with him. We should deal with this hag rather than play her games. But I'm only one of many. I'm part of a group, and we have a mission. I certainly don't want to turn you in to the hag, but if I am outvoted, which seems like it is the case, I have no other choice but to accept that. I wanted to know who you were before that, so if there was any any chance to clear your name or whatever it is that what you've done in Elandria, if I can possibly help. I see myself as an outcast because of who I am, and then I undo
your illusion or whatever.
Yes, the illusion. And so he sees, I guess, for the first time if he hasn't seen me before, I'm very protective of that, or turn off the illusion that just so he can see my full tiefling form, the huge horns pointed upwards, and the tail, and the skin. So, I'm a tiefling, and I know that there are other tieflings that do live in our society, but I don't feel comfortable showing this to everyone.
Says, yes, I can understand that. There's a lot of people that would not understand what you are. He says, maybe we can make a deal. Would you be interested in some kind of arrangement that's mutually beneficial if we can come up with one?
A deal? What sort of deal? What is... you don't seem to be in a position for making deals, but...
He says, well, that's true, and I may not be. But I am a survivor, and it seems like this witch that we keep hearing so much about is a survivor as well. And it could be that I can come to some kind of arrangement with her. As you said, you don't know for sure what happens to the people that are given over to her. Perhaps she immediately kills them and that's the end of it, but perhaps something else happens. And if that's the case, maybe I could ingratiate myself to her so she doesn't kill me or do whatever. And perhaps I could gather information about her, about what she's up to, any weaknesses she might have, things like that. And if I can provide you and your friends with information that is helpful to you in dealing with this witch, perhaps you could let me go on my way. I think it's safe to say that returning to Elandria is not possible for me. The guards all know my face. If I ever set foot in that city again, my life will be forfeit. So I will be forced to go elsewhere, and I will be out of your hair. I'll be out of Elandria's hair, and we can just go our separate ways.
I want to roll an insight check to see if he's on the up and up. If this deal is actually beneficial to me?
Okay.
If he, I don't know. Am I able to do that?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Not that I'm great at it, but that's a 17.
Oh wow. I mean, he seems sincere in his desire to make this deal with you, and you think, I mean, as far as you can tell, it seems like he would honor it. It also seems kind of, as you think about it, it seems like, you would kind of have all the power in this situation because, I mean, right. What's he really going to do? If you don't, for instance, if you get the information from him and you don't honor your end of the bargain, I mean, what's he really going to do about it? He's going to be in the possession of this witch anyway. And you think he's right as far as returning to Elandria, I mean, the city's well guarded and nobody enters the city who isn't under the eyes of the guard. So unless he had some way to magically disguise himself, I mean, there's no way he could really get into the city without them knowing, as far as you know. And you can't teleport into the city or anything like that. So Of course, who knows where he would go or what he would do. And, he might not be pooping in your backyard, but he might be pooping in someone else's.
Right. So, I think this sounds, this I'm okay with this. I think this sounds like a good deal.
He says, well, if I could make a suggestion, I would suggest that you keep this from your friends for now. I don't think that they would go for it. Wait until I can bring some useful information back before you let them know the terms of our agreement. That's what I would suggest. Then you have some leverage against them.
Oh. Lerissa feels even guiltier because she's already done this much without saying anything to anyone.
Dahlia is just watching all this fascinated, by the way. She's just like looking from him to you and back again, just like fascinated by all this.
I'll say I will do my best to keep this between us, and I look at Dahlia very pointedly.
Oh, I won't say a word, she says. I don't really talk to the others that much anyway.
So I guess we have a deal.
Excellent, he says. Do you have any idea of how I will be able to get in contact with you once I have something worth sharing?
Dahlia?
Oh my, I don't know.
I say, maybe you can go to him.
Oh, I suppose I could. Oh, but what if the witch sees me?
Well, you're toast, I guess. You're not supposed to be seen, Dahlia. That's the whole point.
Well, depending how powerful she is, she might be able to see me even if I'm invisible.
Oh, gosh. Well, what if... Ooh, do I know that we were going to spend much more time in this town? No. Oh, God. Because if we just leave for Elandria, it's like, whoops. There's that. How about from the time, I'll give it 3 days, from the time that we hand you over, you have 3 days to find this location right here where we're meeting now. And I'll rendezvous with you here.
Are you telling... Is this for Dahlia?
For him.
Oh, for him.
If you are as resourceful as you say you are, you will find your way here. And you will meet me in 3 days' time.
He looks thoughtful and he says, "Well, I definitely will if I can, but it may not be possible to escape her."
Oh, you can say whatever it is that you want to say to her, to get you out here. I leave that in your hands to figure out how you are going to find your way to me, and I will try to stall my friends for 3 days until you arrive.
I'll do my best. It's hard to say without knowing who and what this witch is and what she's capable of.
Right, and it might just be for naught, but it is the best you can offer. It's the best I can offer. I don't want you to outright die or kill you, but it is a step to redeeming you.
You and your friends seem to have a lot of magic at your disposal. Isn't there some way you can contact me or something?
Looks over her spell list.
You guys are always talking into that rock. Can you use that?
Well, you're gonna have to have the other end of that rock, and which you don't. There is no way because that the other piece of that is all the way in Elandria.
Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe I even hate to say this, but maybe the fiery one, the bitchy one. She might be able to do something.
Fear.
Yes, that one.
Well,
you can tell he doesn't like fear at all.
I'll have to. I'll have fear. Fear is your least or if out of everyone in our group, she dislikes you the most. I'll say, and it will be hard for me to convince her to contact you if whatever, but I can try.
Well, you seem pretty good at convincing people of things.
Well, I almost came out and said that it was magic, but I'm not going to say that. Not going to reveal my secrets to him.
Yeah, right.
I say, well, I spent my some time in the Feywild, so I know my way around people. Well, I wanted to also give you at last good meal before basically sending you to your death to the chopping block.
Well, thank you for that, Seth. I appreciate it.
We've not been treating you well, kindly at all. So, and when we will have to return you to the stockades.
Yes, of course. You're not going to turn me into a dog again, are you? Dahlia's like, don't look at me. I can't do it again.
I cannot do that. No.
Not until tomorrow.
That's that's a now problem because it used to be a later problem, but now it has become a now problem that we have to figure out how to get you back into the town without being seen.
Yeah, Dahlia's got fly.
Right. I mean, yeah, and I can fly myself, and we can do that. It's just a matter of not being seen on the way to the stockade.
Yeah. Yeah, the trickiest part will be getting past the wall and the guards that are manning the wall. Once you do that, you probably shouldn't be too hard to get them back to the stockade without being seen, because there's not really... I mean, it's like the middle of the night right now, so...
Cool.
People aren't awake.
Well, I say to him, is there anything else you'd like to share with me before we head back?
He says, no, I'm quite content with this delicious meal.
You're welcome.
Thank you, he says.
Fear made it herself.
He chokes. He's like, well, hopefully it's not poisoned.
No, not at all. I hope it isn't, because I also ate.
He's like, well, I figured she had to be good at something other than running her mouth.
Watch it. She is still my friend.
Yes.
I'm not afraid to take you down right here for her. I say, just suddenly getting all...
Of course, he says. We'll just agree to disagree about your friend. How about that?
Sure. So, let's head over. Does Dahlia speak Elvish? Do I know that?
she does not. She speaks Common and Sylvan.
Oh, damn. Any any chance I would have learned Sylvan in the Feywild? No.
I mean, you definitely could have. What did you choose for your languages that you know?
Well, I have Infernal because of my race.
Yeah.
Elvish and Common.
Okay.
So I'm not sure whether the Courtier or something gave me extra languages. I'd have to look at it again. Those are the only languages I have listed.
I mean, you could just always go out of earshot from him if you wanted to talk to her privately.
Yeah, I just don't want him to beat feet.
Oh, yeah.
And just leave. Yeah, so the Courtier lets me choose 2 languages, which I guess I've picked the first, but not the second of them.
Yeah, because you probably... How many did you get as a bard? I'm sure you got some as a bard. Maybe you didn't pick either of them.
Guess not. I'm an incomplete bard.
You choose 3 skills.
Yeah.
Oh, I get... Maybe languages comes from your race. I don't see anything about languages here.
Yeah, from race and background is where mostly languages come from.
So let's see what you got as a tiefling. You probably got the Infernal, right?
Yeah, I got Infernal from being a tiefling. And then I think I chose the one.
Yeah.
The Elvish as per my family's.
Yeah. So yeah, it seems like you have another language to pick.
Yay! Would it?
Yeah, you can say it's Sylvan if you want.
Right. So then I want to speak to her in Sylvan.
Okay.
And say the moment that he seems to want to flee, once you cast Fly on him over the wall, you let the spell go and let him fall however high he is.
She just starts cackling. Like, she just thinks that's the most hilarious thing. She's like, oh, I almost hope he does. Miguel's looking very suspiciously at the 2 of you. He's like, what are you laughing about?
Oh, nothing.
He does not look convinced.
Yeah, so I want to do that. I want to it's time to go, I say, and I start packing.
Okay.
And then I head, I say for us to head back.
All right. So you're going to have Dahlia cast Fly on him?
Yeah, we didn't go an hour from the place, right?
No, you're not that far away.
Yeah, so I want to also cast Fly on myself from the lyre.
Okay, cool.
So I'll cast Fly on myself because I already did Levitate, so Levitate is gone for the day.
Yeah.
So I'll cast Fly on myself, and then she can fly, and then if she will cast Fly on him.
Okay. Yeah.
And we would approach as quietly as possible, and then just fly us over. And then we'll just fly over to the stockade.
All right, so make a stealth check with advantage since you're flying, and I will do the same for the 2 of them.
Oh my god. Maybe she can put herself invisible. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's right. She can be invisible, so I guess I don't really have to worry about Dahlia.
Oh my goodness, yes. Like, I roll a 19, and I get a +5.
Nice, and Miguel got a 17, so you guys get back into town, get him back to the stockade. It doesn't look like anybody noticed you.
Cool. So then, how are we gonna get his head and hands back in there without?
Oh yeah,
that's another now problem. I say to him, "Do you know how to pick a lock?"
He says, "Actually, I do, but unless you have the proper tools."
I take a hairpin.
Okay.
And I give it to him.
He's like, well, this isn't ideal, but I might be able to make it work.
And I say, I'm sure I believe in your in your skills, and I give him inspiration.
Oh, okay. What is that?
So he take a D8.
Oh yeah, well that does it. Yeah, he's able to pop this little padlock open that kind of holds the stock closed,
and then I put my hand out for the pin again.
He sighs and gives you the pin and like puts his head and his hands in the thing so you can lock it. I lock
it, and then I smack his butt, and off I go. Back to the tavern. I wanna like veer towards Logan's.
Okay.
Then leave a little eau de demon perfume scent on his door.
Okay.
And then head towards the bar.
All right.
I gotta dot my I's and cross my T's.
All right. So speaking of Logan, you had like lunch with him earlier that day, right?
Yeah.
So I thought of some things I could tell you that came up while you guys were having lunch that you would know. So basically, you kind of know because you and Fear actually talked to him when you guys first got into town about he was all wanting to hire you guys to take him to Elandria and back so he could trade. Right. And while you guys were having your lunch, and after you kind of told him this story of your journey and all of that, you'd asked him, what he's been up to the last couple of weeks and how things were in town. And he started talking about how, things were pretty normal for the first week or so. But as time wore on, people started discussing what they were going to do about this next sacrifice and started debating about who they would send because there weren't any obvious answers as far as who to send. And, eventually a few people like Carl and some others started offering up his name as a, quote, outsider. And you can tell he's very, he tries to hide it. He tries to play it off like he's just mad, but you can tell that he's actually pretty hurt by the fact that some of the villagers wanted to send him, and he's lived here for 5 years now. He feels like he's become a part of the community, and so he was pretty upset that at least a few of the villagers don't feel that way, just probably because he's a halfling, he's not human. Mm-hmm. And he says that some of the villagers did stand up for him, people like Verna. But there's a disturbing number of villagers who really didn't say anything either way, who, didn't stand up for him and didn't necessarily say that he should be sent away either. But, like he kind of said to you before, he says, I know who my friends are now, and, so he's talking about this, and you can tell he's a little bitter about it. And he mentions, the offer he made you guys, that he was going to pay you guys 300 gold to take him to Elandria and back. And he says, I know that there's a little misunderstanding. You thought I was just going to pay you 300 gold just to take me to the city and didn't realize I wanted you to bring me back. And he's like, after everything that's happened, he says, really, the next time you guys go back to Elandria, I'd really like to go with you. I will pay you the 300 gold to take me. He says, but I think it will just be a one-way trip. He says, I've kind of had it with these people. I was originally thinking that maybe we could reestablish trade with Elandria, and maybe I would kind of take charge of that. But I think I'd rather just go back to the city and take my chances there. And if or when trade does open up to other places, I'd be happy to investigate that. But I don't really want to live somewhere where at least some of the people don't value me and don't consider me part of the community just because I'm not human or whatever the reason is, or just because I haven't lived here long enough. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of it.
Oh, well, I would say to Logan not to take it personally. There are people will say and do things that sometimes they don't mean to in times of desperation. This is one such time. To find someone to accuse and send basically to their death is a serious matter, and everyone won't like you, and not personally you, but no one really, not everyone is liked. Even the mayors, I'm sure there are people who have their opinions of them, but they tolerate them for whatever reason. But you have your friends here, and you have established yourself here, and if you do become the head, take charge of the trade, I'm sure people will see you in a different light, and people will start respecting you for who you are.
He says, perhaps, but there's a large world out there.
Yeah.
I don't need to be limited to this single little backwater town. And he says, I think actually Verna Applegate would do very well handling this end of the trade with Elandria, and maybe I can handle the other end in Elandria itself. And I'm sure Verna and I could make a lot of money.
Yes. I wouldn't want you to lose your friends here. If you were to just find some other town or some other place to move to, just because it's more, I don't know, lucrative. Is that the word?
Yeah.
But maybe you're right. Maybe you just set up shop in Elandria and make trade between the village, and I think you can you will play a great part in this village, becoming part of the community again.
Says maybe you're right. He says I have noticed maybe the fact that I am a bit of an outsider, maybe it gives me a perspective others don't have, but I have noticed in recent years that there has been a change in at least some of the people here in the village. Carl is the perfect example. It's almost like this deal we've made with this witch has twisted some of the people somehow.
And I'm sure it did. Hags are not, or witches, however you want to name her, are not good creatures to deal with. At least from what I've heard. So now you have, you're part of the Feywild. That makes you exotic.
Yes, there is that.
And
not sure what that means, but
now you're protected by a nymph. So hopefully, I hope that everything works out for you, my dear.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I give him a kiss on the cheek.
Okay, he likes that.
Retroactively,
he blushes. All right. And then I think you said something about you wanted to do something with the dude in your ring.
Yes.
Whom you haven't heard from for a few days.
He's been sitting there listening to everything that's happening, and I'm just like,
he's just eating TV dinners and
hello. I need this timeshare because in case I get, I die.
It's like, what do you want?
Well, hello. First of all, my name is Lerissa. Let's start with simple pleasantries, shall we?
Since I don't remember my name. We've already been over this.
Right. Do you remember anything at all?
About what? I remember
about the what? Where were you before you were here in this place?
I don't remember. I just remember being here. I remember talking to your very annoying friend who was next door for a while. He was very loud.
Okay.
Still smells like bong smoke in here.
I'm gonna try something, and it might be for naught, but you know, I'm in the mood for trying things today, and I'm gonna cast a spell magic on this
ring. Okay, that's interesting.
So I
make a charisma check, I guess.
I believe that is a +4 for me.
I gotta look this up. I don't even know what's gonna happen.
Wow. Of all times, this is the time to roll on that 20.
Nice.
Wow. So I will be 24 if it matters. But it probably matters because of, high set DCs and stuff.
Yeah. So you're casting it on the ring, right?
I am. I am casting because I cannot target him.
Right.
If I can target him, I would target him, but I can either do one creature or one object.
Yeah.
So I'll just do the object.
Is the ring invisible on your hand or is it visible?
It's visible on me. Okay.
So you cast a spell. You feel it kind of take hold on the ring. And as you're casting it, this guy's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And he like cuts off in mid-sentence, it seems you don't think you've permanently dispelled the ring, but it seems to have suppressed the magic, at least for now.
Suppress the ring's magic, like my connection with him.
Yeah, like the ring is not functioning at the moment because you dispelled it, but you think it's just temporary.
Oh well, I say, and I just at least he'll be quiet for however long that time. And I just do one of these like, wipe my brow like, at least I did not break it.
Dahlia's like, what were you trying to do?
Well, there is a man, an old man, grumpy old man, in this ring, and I show her the ring. He's trapped in there.
Oh my, that sounds horrible.
I think. Do I understand the ring? Do I understand how it works?
Yeah.
So I think his soul is trapped in there.
Oh, how unusual.
Yeah. I say Marcos has one like it. And when he died, his soul went in there. And then we helped his soul back onto his body. We don't have this man's body. And if I die, I should like to have a spot for my soul to be in.
Well, we just have to find his body then.
Or, putting him in some other corpse. I don't know.
If that would work.
Have another body to live in. Live a new life. I don't know. He doesn't seem to remember anything from before seeing me. So.
Miguel might be a corpse pretty soon.
Oh my goodness.
Waste not, want not. That's what I always say.
Don't say that.
Well, okay, I don't say that. I heard a satyr say that, but I think it's true.
Oh no. I'll say, well, I guess it's time to sneak back into my room.
Oh, that sounds like fun. She turns invisible.
Oh no! Don't leave me here.
I'm right here. You feel her like grabbing your ear.
I can't make myself invisible again, nor can I levitate myself to my window or fly there. Unless fly actually lasts for 1 hour, or 10 minutes, if 10 minutes have already passed, I think.
It's probably been 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Is that how long it lasts?
Yeah. 10 minutes. Fly for 10 minutes.
Well, it shouldn't be too hard to sneak into your room because everybody's asleep. So
yeah.
I think the only person that might be awake is maybe one of the other player characters, but I don't know that any of them are, so I'll just say you're able to sneak in.
Unless fear is waiting for me up in the middle of the night, but yeah.
Yes, this will be funny if Danielle watches this and hears what Miguel said about her. Should be pissed.
Yes.
I knew I didn't like that guy.
Oh my goodness. Is the I guess when we went back to the town, the tree is still, prominent here. And
yes.
Do we see the nymph around or not?
No, you don't see her. She's probably in the tree, you imagine.
Mm-hmm. Wow. that was a oopsie on our end. To make sure that when we're making those deals with the Fae, that
I was so afraid that Fear was gonna examine the sapling and try to figure stuff out and maybe figure out what's going on, but luckily she didn't.
I mean, you could have not made it more obvious than the tree. Like the sapling grows from out of the tree, and here you go. Plant this over there. I'm like, this seems good. This is a good idea.
Yeah, I got to remember that next time someone's like, "What's your favorite story from D&D?" Like that would definitely be it. That was fantastic.
Yeah,
great. And the look on everybody's faces.
Yeah,
like as I was describing what was happening, and people were figuring out before I was even done describing it what was going on, and everybody's like, and it was funny because I think it was Brett was like going, oh no, and I think it was maybe you were like, oh yes.
Yes. And now we have turf wars.
Yes. Yeah. So that night when you go to sleep, you have some pretty vivid dreams. And we'll just say you're kind of having these dreams all the time now, and it's basically, or at least while you're in the village, you do, and it's basically some of your memories from your time in Fairy, like coming back to you, kind of in dreams, and you probably wake up pretty disturbed from these dreams because you remember now that your time in Fairy wasn't all great, and it was very different there because here, I mean, I guess I don't know for sure, but I've been assuming that Lerissa is a fairly attractive person, whether in her disguise form or her normal form.
Yeah.
And the whole Tiefling thing, for probably a lot of people, just makes her more exotic, and doesn't make her less attractive by any stretch. So she's kind of used to, she walks in a room and everybody notices her, she's used to kind of having that power over people. Mm-hmm. But when you were in Fairy, it was very different. You remember now that many of the Fae, especially the nobility, have a pretty low opinion of humans and other mortal non-Fey races. And in fact, they actually, most of the humans and other, kind of mortal races that you saw in Fey, most of them were actually enslaved by the Fey. And there's kind of like two general types of Fey. There's like the kind of unseelie, more kind of evil, dark and disturbing Fey. And then there's the seelie, more not necessarily good, but less evil. And with the seelie, it was kind of more like indentured servitude. Mm-hmm. These were people who made a deal with a fairy and weren't careful enough with the terms of the deal. And so it's like they kind of got themselves into it, but yet, I mean, they're still slaves at the end of the day. They don't have free will. They can't leave and stuff like that. Where with the unseelie fairies, it's more like they torment them and torture them, and they don't try, like basically the seelie don't think of them as slaves, even though they kind of are. They try to make it seem like it's more civilized than that. But yeah, so people were looked down upon by the Fae, and you being part human, which they don't think much of, and part fiend, which they think even less of, you were definitely kind of like I don't know how you would say, like a second-class citizen or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you were not the prettiest person in the room. You were not respected in that way, and you were kind of treated like Cinderella, basically. Like
yeah.
With their stepmothers. They had you doing all this menial work, and they always talked down to you and treated you like you were ugly and stupid and clumsy and all this stuff. And so there's probably at least a part of you that is not super happy about these memories coming back. It's like, I'd almost rather not remember this.
Yeah, not at all. If anything, it kind of like solidifies her fear to show her true self in public. Okay. It's kind of like I was treated that way by them because of what I looked. Not only with I was half fiend, which half human, but then half fiend, which to them is just like disgusting and whatnot. So I think Lerissa takes that very to heart. Like, she doesn't want to feel like she disgusted, like she is I guess obnoxious, if you will, to other people,
and that was mainly the noble Fae. The more non-noble Fae, they were pretty nice to you because they weren't treated much better than you were. Because it's kind of like elves in a way. It's like, if you're not an elf, you're nothing, and that's kind of how they were. Even with the non-nobles, it's like, well, yeah, you're a fairy, but you're not the right type of fairy, so you're still not good enough, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Dahlia was actually someone, like, she was considered part of the nobility. I mean, she was really low rank within the nobility, but she was someone, like, you remember now that she really was your friend, truly, and she never treated you like that, and she in a lot of ways made things a lot more bearable for you than they would have been otherwise, because she was always kind of looking out for you, and yeah. So, and it actually kind of reduced her reputation in the court a little bit, but she didn't care. She was always kind of a rebel. So yeah, so there's that. Because I think I made one or two offhand comments about the Fae, like, having slaves. So I wanted you to kind of know how that worked. And that's kind of a big thing. And that's one of the reasons why people don't go into the fairy forest, because it's kind of common knowledge that, if you make a deal with a fairy, more likely than not, you're going to end up, their footman for the rest of your life or something.
Right.
Because there's always fine print in the deal that you didn't realize about. And it's like, oh crap, now I'm indentured to this fairy for 100 years, and I'm only going to live another 30. So
Yep. It's like going into the nine hells, making a deal, not
right.
and then your soul is forfeit forever.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
So, yeah, and I think in some way, because Larissa's mother is part, in some way, of the nobility in Elandria, she felt like she wanted to be part of nobility, even though she did feel, obviously she had this this companionship and camaraderie with the other Fae that were treated just like her, but she was kind of envious of those above, because in Elandria, her mother is that,
right.
but she doesn't treat, people that way. And she kind of, I guess, in some way was expecting to be treated like that, but this wasn't the place, like this is not, she's not a Fae. She's not from here. This isn't her place, but she felt very, she felt jealous of that. And I think she wanted to have some sort of status, which is why she dresses extravagantly, in a way to impress and to sort of mimic the Fae royalty, because I'm assuming the Fae nobles are very extravagant and
ridiculously so.
Ridiculous, exactly. So Lerissa kind of copies that to an extent, to just well, if they, if they're that way, then maybe if I myself, if I make myself similar to them, maybe I will be accepted.
Yeah,
I think that was her thought through her time in the growing up in the Feywilds, until she lost her memories of most of the things, but she still kind of kept that in the back of her mind to sort of be fabulous.
Always be fabulous.
Always be fabulous, no matter the situation.
Yeah, and now that things are coming back to you, that fairy's kind of a mess. Because you have a relatively small number of them that are the nobility that lord over everyone, and then you've got all these non-noble fae and other creatures that live in fairy, that it's very much like Narnia, in that the animals are intelligent and talk, and they're even more looked down upon than the non-noble fae. They're even a step down from them. So there's far, far more beings that are oppressed than there are that are, living the life at the top of the hierarchy. Right. And it's a mess. A lot of injustice.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a paradox, because the noble fae see themselves as very civilized and sophisticated, and they claim that humans learn civilization from them and blah, 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 blah. But yet they do some things that are very barbaric and uncivilized.
Right.
But they're kind of blind to it. They've convinced themselves that, it's not like that. So it's kind of a load of horse crap, really.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting because in Elandria, slavery is illegal, and it's seen as completely uncivilized. If they encounter another city or something and they have slavery, it's instantly they're barbarians kind of thing. So it's kind of weird, because you came from this place that was in a lot of ways much more enlightened, but when you were in fairy, it was like you went from being the lady of the house to one of the servants.
Yeah.
So it's this kind of weird thing, and yet the fae think that they're superior.
Right.
They're really not.
Wow.
I guess they're superior in lifespan. They've got that going for them. But that's probably why they're kind of backwards, right?
I just love that.
So yeah, I
do love the complex society.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know how much Lerissa cares about any of that now that she's out of it. Might be just something like, I don't ever want to go back there again, kind of thing.
No, I mean, she's still kind of interested in like meeting the queen, you know, like this whole thing, like the queen, it has interest in her. She's like, well, maybe this is her time, but you know, she doesn't want to be part of the you know, part of this whole servitude system ever again.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah. If she meets other fae that kind of look down on her, by the time that she sees the queen, she would definitely flaunt, you know, her way up to the throne. And just like, you know, Dart looks at them as she is invited over to the court of the queen. But
awesome.
That's another story for another time.
Yeah.
For another time, if we even like, you know, make it that far.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I could easily see at some point in this campaign having some kind of arc with Lerissa and Fairy and all that stuff. Like, if you wanted to, that could be fun.
Yes. My gosh. All the crazy stuff we'll get down to in the Fairy Wild.
Yeah, right?
Crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, as a glamour bard, you can use a lot of their own tricks against them now. So
yes, yes, I like the sixth level shenanigan where I can cast command as a bonus action.
Yeah,
my gosh,
that'll be useful.
Yeah, I mean it's balanced in a way that it competes with other bonus actions. For the bard, like if I wanted to inspire someone, but then we have Marcos, who is also a bard. So yeah. So I was thinking that Lerissa now can use her other ability. I've tried to use that before, but nope. Seemed like everyone was just like, I'll take the temporary hit points, but I'm not moving.
Yeah.
I think, what was that? Mantle of Inspiration. That's the one where like they gain temporary hit points and also have the ability to move up to their speed anywhere they want without incurring attacks of opportunity, which is pretty cool. To have, if to kind of like rearrange yourselves on the map. For free. But people have not taken that bait. But
I hope at least once or twice in this campaign to have more kind of dungeon crawl stuff. When we do stuff like that, we would use a grid and everything. So that'll probably be a lot more obviously useful when there's a grid and people can see the positioning and be like, oh, I could move over there and not get attacked. That's really cool. Yeah, I think that's a super cool ability.
Yeah. I mean, the whole glamour bard class is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I dig it.
Wow.
Yeah, if I played a bard, it'd be a tough decision between a glamour or a lore bard.
Mm-hmm. I did play a lore bard before, and it was actually very useful when it came to that 6th level thing where you can actually pick spells from another class. So that became very, very handy when when it makes your utility belt just expand that much more. Because it doesn't have any class restriction. But it has a level restriction. So, for example, at that level, you'll be able to cast 3rd level spells, but that means you can gain some of the 3rd level spells that the paladin has. Paladin won't be able to get that until like 11th level, something like that. So I really liked from that, like the aura of vitality is the one that you can like heal people with a bonus action, like 2d6 for an entire minute, so that it equals to like 20d6 of healing that you can do with one spell.
Yeah.
Obviously over time, but it's pretty awesome, and it's some I loved it.
Yeah.
So I can't wait until we get to 10th level and then get to choose from other classes and see what interests me at that point.
Yeah, because you could take from anything.
Yeah.
Could go all kinds of different directions.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Awesome, man. Well, was there anything else you wanted to do with the vignette today?
No. I think we covered everything. I thought we were going to just focus on the one, but I like that we, touched on on Logen, and then the wizard, which still is beyond me. I don't know what to do with him. I'm trying to see if he ever remembers anything or whatever, or how I can help him, which really is helping me to get him out. I'm like, I got this ring, but it's occupied. So,
yeah, fun times. There are so many balls in the air right now with this campaign. I love it.
Yes. Yes. Also, awesome picture of Petunia.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I thought that she looked really awesome.
Yeah.
That picture.
Yeah, I really like that. Well, all right, man. That's all I've got, pretty much.
All right.
So that was a lot of fun. And let me know if you have any ideas for Dahlia for like abilities or anything like that.
Yeah. Hopefully everyone gets to, do theirs, or,
Yeah. Or at least everybody that wants to.
Yeah. Because, it's pretty, I personally see that like almost like a necessity to because there are so many things and so many aspects of the game that don't get, touched on, because everyone is trying to continue, to focus on one goal together.
Right.
And there's so many like individual things that you don't get to do because, because you're just trying to move forward, and you're like, I'm just gonna, table that for another time. And then trying to find the right time without taking like a whole half hour to an hour of everyone's time.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
For your own. So.
Yeah. And it's funny because for the most part, everybody makes it to the sessions. Because originally I thought, most weeks there'll probably only be 4 or 5 people that can come. And so we can kind of week to week kind of focus on the characters that are there. Mm. But everybody's coming most of the time. So we can't really.
Which is good.
Yeah, that's good. But yeah.
That means we have a good impact on us.
Yeah.
We want to come back.
But yeah, I think everybody wants to be there for the next thing. So.
Yeah. I think it's a big like, I don't know, like a climactic point in our.
Yeah. And Danielle really needs to be there because she's been one of the big players with Miguel. So.
Yes. Plus everyone getting to meet the witch for the first time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've been working on that quite a bit this week.
Trying to find ways to kill us.
Yeah. So the downtime's been very nice for me because it's giving me time to get ready for stuff. So.
Oh my gosh, I am scared.
You're scared?
Yes, for whatever is about to come.
It'll be fun.
The face a hag, and yeah. Lerissa is not in a mood to like parlay with hags right now, but but she's also not stupid. So we'll see what happens. She's so her self-preservation is up the highest, importance right now. It's so
that's understandable.
Yeah. But we're 6th level, so we should be able to handle our own.
Yeah. You guys have got some cool stuff now. So, and you've got your new feat, right? The Tiefling thing.
Yeah.
It gives you the cold resistance and poison resistance, I think. Yeah, and another point of Constitution.
Let's see. I didn't have Xanathar's. Xanathar's in front of me.
Yeah, it's infernal something, I think is what it's called.
Infernal Constitution?
Oh yeah. That's it.
Not the flames of Phlegetos. Or Phlegetos or whatever it is.
Yeah, it'd just be fun to say.
Phlegetos. Because and I asked because I was looking through the PDFs of the UA, and I think the wording, everything, they kept the wording the same for most, if not all, of the racial feats.
Cool.
Yeah, because what you posted is exactly what it's on, or what it was on the UA, and it's the same on the book.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that other one.
Mm-hmm. The other one is the Flames of Phlegetos, which you get either an increase on intelligence or charisma by 1, and when you roll fire damage for a spell you cast, you get to reroll 1s. You keep the 1 if you roll another 1, and whenever I cast a spell that deals fire damage, I can cause a flame to wreathe around me until the end of my turn, and anyone that hits me within 5 feet with a melee attack gets 1d4 fire damage. But also makes you a torch.
Yeah.
You shed bright light for 30 and then dim light for another 30. So
yeah, so I suppose actually you could take either one of those. I'll let you pick which one you want. I forgot that there were more than one.
Well, whichever one is, it seems more relevant, I think, for you. I don't know if you had a plan for that.
I mean, I think I just picked the one I thought fit your character best, but I mean, it's your character, so you can. If you'd rather have the flames of Phlegetos, however you say it, that's fine by me.
Phlegetos.
I guess I was just I don't remember you casting a lot of fire spells, so I wasn't sure if it would be useful.
Except for the one hellish rebuke.
Oh yeah, that's right. Your bomb.
Yeah. It's whenever at the right moment, just hellish rebuke, and then tons of fire damage, and usually ends up killing the creature.
Yeah, it's 30 damage or something the last time you did it. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
it's holy crap. Well, I think the other part of my reasoning was Lerissa seems a little squishy.
Yes,
I thought the resistances might help.
Yes. Yeah, it's actually. I am taking the Infernal Constitution as per your suggestion. So, I just thought, I just saw that there were 2. Actually, most of the classes, the races have 2, if not all of them, have 2 different ones.
Yeah.
On the list, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I wish they'd come up with more of them.
Yeah,
I dig them. I think it'd be cool if they came up with them for all the sub races. That'd be super cool. Come up with 1 or 2 for each sub race. That'd be awesome.
Like Forest Gnome and all that stuff.
Yeah. I guess Tieflings don't really have sub races, but
no,
they should. They should have one for the demon type and the devil type.
Well, their whole canon is that Tieflings are devil types.
Right.
Solely devil types.
Yeah.
But they are coming out with sub races for the Tiefling, that come from different types of devils. So they have different class race abilities.
Yeah. Cool.
They're coming. It's coming out in the Mordenkainen's.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
At least that's what they were talking about in the I forget the channel that they have.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we might have to look at that when that comes out. Like, something that would.
Did you pre-order it, or do you have plans of getting it?
Yeah, I definitely want to get it. Maybe one of those will fit Lerissa really well.
Yeah, there's a lot of different demons and stuff that are going to come out on that on that expansions. That actually on their D&D on the D&D YouTube page, they've been doing like a battle royale type of thing where they just take two different demons and then just put them in an arena and then they fight each other and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
Which have been pretty cool. Their aim with it though is for them to be like top heavy, like higher level, higher tier demons and devils and stuff. Cool. And other extraplanar creatures, as opposed to Volo's Guides to Monsters, which has a lot of creatures at the low level end of things.
Yeah, awesome.
So it's a pretty cool that they're coming out with these expansions and things, because it just kind of gives you more, for the DM, gives you a bigger arsenal of things to like add to your games and make your games kind of like still interesting and unique. Rather than just the vanilla monster manual. Not that that's a bad thing, but there's so many times you can use kobolds and goblins.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Well, the red caps you guys faced were from Volo's Guide. Yeah, those are in there.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, I use stuff from Volo's Guide whenever I can, just because. Yeah, I feel like we've all seen the stuff in the monster manual a million times already.
Yeah,
try to find.
Yeah, it just kind of keeps everything interesting. So
yeah, totally. Well, all right, man. This was a lot of fun.
Yes.
And keep in touch, and I guess I'll see you in a couple weeks, if not before.
Yes. Yeah. And I guess I'm prolonging our goodbyes. But I was gonna ask about joint.
It's so hard.
Yes, I was gonna ask about joint vignettes, and if that was still a thing that we were gonna try to do.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, I don't have like an idea right now, but I'm sure that we will sometimes. Like, I'm sure Danielle and I can find something to talk about.
Yeah, I still think it would be really fun to get to a point in the story where we can have like some extended downtime and then do like little vignettes where like 2 or 3 of the characters go off on a little adventure on their own or something. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Get the stag.
Yeah. I can't remember if you watched Critical Role or not, but they did that once where they split the party up and they did like 2 different sessions with the different groups.
I think they did that like recently.
Yeah, they've probably done it more than once.
Like at the end of the last one, or with this one.
Yeah,
the last campaign.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen all of them, so they've probably done it times that I didn't see. But I thought that was really cool, especially with such a big group, because then you get a little more focus on individual characters that way.
Definitely.
And I mean, we've got 6 people, so we could do 2 groups of 3 or 3 groups of 2, and that'd be fun.
Yep.
As long as it doesn't get too involved.
Not a whole contingency plan and changing the whole changing the whole plan of everyone at hand, because I was Lerissa wouldn't have done it, but I was thinking, what if Lerissa just lets him go right here in the middle of And then comes back and like, oh, whoops, he escaped.
Yeah, I almost thought you were going to do something like that at first. I'm like, whoa, you're going to let him go? Really?
No, Larissa's not that crazy. She's adventurous, but she still has loyalty to her party and her friends. So she just wanted to have an opportunity to talk to him, not with Wall and Fear supervising the interactions.
Yeah.
Because she felt suppressed by the two of them. Just like, he's a baddie. You shouldn't feel good for him. I was just like, yeah, okay. And it's not like anything against the character, against the players or anything. It's definitely their characters. Just like, I hate that man. He needs to die.
Well, I'm glad you went that route. So there's some conflict that way. Not everybody agrees about what to do.
Yeah. Anyway, now we say our goodbyes.
All right.
See you at the next time.
All right, man. Have a good night.